Greetings. My name is Mike Ebert. I am the Director of Property Management here at Austin Landmark Property Services. I want to make a quick video about service animals and emotional support animals. Here in Texas, you do not have to take pets at your property, and there's no limit on the deposit that you can charge. So we do have restrictions here, like any property management company should have, some restrictions on size and types, and there's some breed restrictions and things like that. Most of my properties do accept pets. I encourage all my landlords to accept pets unless there's extenuating circumstances, such as you're deathly allergic to cats and you might move back into your property after using it as a rental. We should restrict cats in that case. Some natural hardwood floors are very susceptible to damage and scratching from any kind of pet, even cats or small dogs. And so in some cases we restrict it and say no pets, or the landlord has perhaps had a bad experience and they just don't want to deal with pets, and we have that conversation and we note that. You should always charge a pet deposit. Our pet deposit right now is $300 and it is refundable, and that's per pet. But I really want to talk about service animals and emotional support animals, because those are they're covered by the Americans with Disability Act, and it's a federal law that you have to allow service animals and emotional support animals when required. And I'll talk about those requirements here real quick. You have to allow them. You have to allow reasonable accommodations, and you cannot charge a deposit or any extra fees for allowing these animals. You can charge for damage after they've moved out, but again, you cannot disallow them in any way, and you cannot charge any kind of fees relating to these. And again, this is my best understanding of our requirements and these federal rules. I've attended workshops and classes regarding this. I am not an attorney, so this is not legal advice, but there are some impacts that landlords need to be aware of, and that's why I'm discussing this. A service animal, as far as I understand, is defined as a dog or a small horse that is trained to help a disabled person with a specific disability. In those instances, if somebody says I have a service animal, then we are allowed to request proof of that animal's training. And that's what we do. We say, please just provide the animal certificate that shows that it is trained to assist the disabled person with a specific disability. And all service animals have been well trained, and they have this paperwork, and we get it, we get a copy. And in most cases, we do not create a pet agreement because it's not a pet. Technically, it's an occupant at the property. And again, it's covered and allowed by federal law. Where a lot of people get confused and where there's some gray areas is with emotional support animals. An emotional support animal is any animal, okay? Not a dog or a small horse, any animal that a health professional has determined is beneficial for an individual with a health problem or an emotional setback, anything like that. And so those we are allowed to ask for the letter from that health professional. As we all know, there's some websites where people can get these certificates for very cheap. They don't seem legitimate, and we do our best to vet those. And again, what we're asking for is a letter from a health professional that says that that animal essentially qualifies as an emotional support animal. The restrictions for those are the same as a service animal. So once it's deemed to be an emotional support animal, you do not do a pet agreement. There's no deposits, and there's no fees that can be charged for these. Again, you can charge for damages after the tenant moves out, but you can't charge any additional fees or disallow these animals. So, some people have some emotional reactions to this because they just don't want pets, or they don't want to feel like they're being forced to make a decision that they don't want to make. But this is federal law. There's no question about it. You have to allow them, and you have to know where you're required to act and where you're required to, allow these animals to be in your properties. So I hope this is useful to you, as always, and I look forward to seeing you at the next video. Thank you.